Okay, this is cool. Edge of the Bibliothèque Nationale Française. Huge, four sort of right angle shaped towers that are the National Library and Archives of France. And there's this Passerelle Simone de Beauvoir, after the great feminist philosopher, right across the Seine, going to the Parc de Bercy. So, what I'm gonna do is just walk and show you what this landscape looks like, because this is a striking little piece of urban architecture. This whole area, the 13th, there's a lot of construction. It's France's very YIMBY. Yes, in my backyard, there's lots and lots of apartment buildings. People have pointed out that if American cities were built as dense as Paris, just with a lot of mid-rise apartment buildings like this, we could have hundreds of millions more people without even expanding the urban footprint, without even expanding into any green areas or wild ecosystems. So you've got this huge city in the French Republic and the European Union flags, and we got this lovely passerelle with this design that I just find beautiful. It's like something woven almost, or like a DNA helix, these interweaving up and down pedestrian bridges. There it is, Passerelle Simone de Beauvoir, Autriche et philosophe. And here we go. Many bridges over the Seine, the Pont d'Austerlitz up there, you see a metro passing. We are out in the east end of the city, so a bit beyond this area's view is Notre Dame and the Louvre and the famous parts near the center of the city in this direction. And dead ahead, the Seine. Those are a couple for-profit public swimming areas, like little public paid swimming pools in the Seine. But the really famous one is this new non-profit public swimming area that's actually free. That's right now in the winter, it's just a little sort of boardwalky looking square thing, but it's a testament to an incredible ecological renaissance. This river, which was so horribly polluted, not just for decades in the industrial age, but for centuries, by having a medieval city that was constantly putting human and livestock manure and offal and a bunch of other stuff in the river. This river was basically unswimmable, or at least not swimmable if you didn't want to get really sick, for most of Paris's recorded history. And lately, after the hard work of Mayor Anne Hidalgo in Paris and her team, since efforts really began in the 2010s, there's been reworking of wastewater flows to new underground systems instead of going in the river. There's been tons of stuff. There's been pedestrianization, and the river has bounced back immensely. Environmental DNA studies, eDNA, which is so freaking cool. It's this thing where you can it's like Star Trek scanning for life signs. You could just take a sample of water or air or soil, and now we have biotech that can identify the tiny scraps of environmental DNA from animals that have passed that way, just floating around in there from leftover hair or scales or feathers or whatever. So that basically showed there's now over 30 different species of fish in the Seine. This Seine here, and some endangered species of mollusks, and generally a really hardy freshwater ecosystem right in the middle of a city of millions of people like this. And people can swim in it. In the summer. In the winter, I suppose you could in theory, but I don't think they provide the normal sort of swimming services like lifeguards, and you probably wouldn't enjoy it. But yeah, this is wild. I always think that this part of Paris right here looks kind of utopian. You've got these very sort of Jetsons looking modernist buildings, which might not be to everyone's taste, but at least in moderation they're striking certainly. You've got a whole bunch of dense, affordable housing that really enables a robust, vibrant city life without pricing people out, with sort of the really limited housing stocks available in many big American cities. You've got this river that's bouncing back, and you've got, as we continue along, this really cool looking Really cool looking little footbridge. You've got a site of the pedestrianized Seine. This part doesn't look super pedestrianized, there's some trucks and stuff, but there used to be like a highway going right by the Seine, and now you can see it's further in and you can walk all the way along the Seine. Could go down there, but instead going up here. And that's just impressive. Mayor Hidalgo, whose term's ending soon, there'll be a new election early next year, also has a revitalization program. They're planting a bunch more trees and parks and green spaces. This is one of the biggest sort of main highway areas remaining. The city in general is dominated by public transport. Hundreds of roads have been completely pedestrianized, so you can't even drive motorized vehicles. I know I'm talking about the pedestrianization while driving over one of the highways left, so it's not super synchronized, but if you move forward, there's big chunks of the city that are just kind of a solo punk transit utopia. There's public transport to other cities, public transport going to natural areas in that Ile-de-France region around. We can go hike in some woods or gardens. And down here, at the end of that whole footbridge, you've got this wild little bit of public sculpture here that sometimes is like a artificial waterfall when they run water through it, again in the summer months, leading down into this lovely park, the Parc de Bercy in Paris. So, yeah, the little sort of mosaic graffiti off in a video game or cartoon characters is a little running motif throughout the city. It's this nice little sort of public art thing. I've seen Smurfs and superheroes and all sorts of stuff. Not sure what that little figure is. That's the Accor Arena. There were some Olympic events there. There's a public ice skating rink there. That big stadium thing. And I actually just told, I don't know if it came across in the video, parrots! The parrots of Paris. That's them flying right there. Rose-winged parakeets. That is so cool. Just parrots in a European city. And, hey.
Hola.
Hola. Hello. ¿Qué tal? Muy bien, amigo. And, right over here, actually, in the Parc de Bercy, there's a Gare de Bercy, a bus station that is like the most, it's very effective. You can walk right into the park and take a bus to Amsterdam or Warsaw or any other area in the vast European public bus network. But this is the most hidden sort of public transport station ever. We were just walking on sort of the green roof of it. It's under all this. So you can cross the river on a footbridge and then get in a bus. And a lot of buses are electric these days to go across the continent of Europe in the zone Schengen, freedom of movement, no passport controls. It's pretty impressive. I honestly I've been reading and writing about environmental science and policy and options for living a more natural and less ecologically taxing lifestyle. And just in the center of Paris right now, you can walk over the footbridge from the giant library over the restored river where there's fish and endangered mussels and people are swimming, over the hidden bus line where you can take electric buses across Europe, and into the park where there are parrots flying overhead. So Paris is a pretty cool place these days. Thank you. I'm just experimenting with video. This is one of my first tries, and hope you enjoyed it.